Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today to do my May update of my hashtag Team Project Pan 2023. I started this project a month late, so I started in February. This is technically could be my quarterly refresh, but I've made quite a lot of progress this month and I feel like it's going to be refreshed anyway, just naturally. So I'm not actually there's nothing I really hate in this. I did actually modify 3 items, which I might talk about first. And then I'll talk about the products I used up, what I'm replacing in to take their place, and then talk about progress. So I had 2 powders on the go. I had a loose powder, which I had depotted into this. It's the Patrick's powder from MAC. I returned the packaging back to MAC, and I had this loose powder that I wanted to use up. I also had my Winky Luxe pressed powder, which is a matte powder. So I have photos on the screen if you want to know what these looked like. But I decided that I wanted to mix these powders with my Dior Illuminating pressed powder in 001. Again, I'll have a photo of where I was up to on the screen. So what I ended up doing, and I did a little video, I think I did a 2-parter video on TikTok, which I'll link them down below. You don't need an account. You don't need the app to watch them. You can just click the link and watch in your browser. So if you wanted to watch them without having to sign up, you don't have to sign up. But I ended up mixing all these together and pressing my own powder. So it's a slightly sort of mattifying, slightly illuminating powder. I just thought it's a nice way to sort of use it all in one step and minimize these to one thing. So it is now pressed into this. Now there is a pretty big dent in it. Hang on, I'll turn the brightness down because it's hard to see, but there is a dent in it. I haven't hit pan on it yet. It has started to crack, which is why pressing powders is not ideal for long-term stuff, especially loose powders because they don't have the binders to keep it solid. So yeah, I'm using this. It looks a little bit marbled. Hang on, I'll zoom in. So that's what it looks like. It's got a bit of the dark portion is the mattifying powder. And then I don't know if you can see, it catches the light slightly. It's got a bit of highlighter. It's got a bit of pressed powder. It's got a bit of a crack forming, I think, up there. But I will also have on the screen how this looked when I first pressed it. And I have been using that quite consistently. And that's what I'm going to focus on to pan in terms of my powders. So I'm obviously not going to replace the loose powder because I've got a powder, but I am going to replace the highlighter. Now I was rummaging through my drawers and I realized I've got a couple of Super Shock cheeks from ColourPop. This is the shade Out of Quartz. I am wearing it today. There we go. I think I've only used this like once or twice. It is a nice nude color on me. So it pretty much is my skin tone, but it has this light reflection that gives this sort of wet look, but not like a frosty sort of wet look. I thought I'd use this because these do dry out. I've got a whole bunch of liquid highlighters. I've got a whole bunch of powder highlighters that the longevity is better than putty highlighters. So I just thought, use it. It's a nice color. It suits my skin tone at the moment. Easy to throw on, whether you do it with a sponge, brush, fingers. It sits nicely over set makeup. So I just thought, look, I'll use it. It's only got 4.2 grams of product. I might weigh this to keep track of it. But when I start seeing pan, I might take photos. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that's being replaced. I've been focusing my attentions to using up these. And I've used them all up. I've got 2 L'Oreal True Match Nude Plumping Tinted Serums. I've got the shade 0.5 to 2, very light, and 2 to 3 light. I mixed them together. That was my shade. Annoyingly, I was not one or the other. I didn't like these because even though I liked the amount of coverage, which is like a light to medium coverage, nice for every day, just a bit of something on the face to look a little bit, you know, put together. I didn't like these because they actually looked quite dry and patchy on me. They're supposed to have hyaluronic acid and be a little bit more plumping, hydrating, a little bit more glowy. But on me, I feel like hyaluronic acid in makeup, like on my top layer of makeup, tends to actually dry out my skin. And I believe it's because hyaluronic acid sort of needs to be paired with a lot of moisture because then it retains the moisture and keeps it to the skin. If it's not near a lot of moisture, it can actually draw the moisture out of your skin and into it, which I think is what this was doing. So even though I've got oily skin and most foundations can look dewy on me throughout the day, these looked really dry and like desert-like and quite patchy on me. So I didn't like these. Other people rave about them. For me, they don't work. I ended up mixing them with my Maybelline 4-in-1 Glow makeup, which I did a review on. This is supposed to be a primer, an illuminator, BB cream, and a concealer all in one. I don't think it really did any of those, or like maybe primer. I mixed it together to add a little bit more luminosity to these and to add a little bit more hydration. So I didn't like any of these individually, but together they were okay. And I'm glad they're gone because I don't want them. I keep trying new sort of raved about drugstore products and I feel like I'm frequently disappointed, and these are a good example of it. I'm not replacing these with anything at the moment. I'm wearing these today. Like this is empty, so I'm not wearing this, but I'm wearing these today. It's a last bit that I could get out, like tapping it on my hand, opening it up, tapping it. I haven't yet figured out what I want to put in next. And also I've got a concealer that I can use as a foundation in the meantime. So I'm going to use the next month as a way to use up that concealer. And then hopefully by then I'll know which foundation I want to focus on next check-in. So these are all bye-bye. I used up my mascara. This is the Rimmel Kind and Free mascara. Really like this. I only use it up because I was using it for ages. Sort of it's gone dry. It was starting to get a bit flaky. So it's gone, but I enjoyed it. And then I've replaced it with a mini. This is from Ilia. It's just a little sample. This is not bad. I think it's a pretty expensive brand, so it's probably not one that I would purchase, but I think it is nice. So I'm going to weigh this. I added this in, well, I started using this maybe 2 weeks ago, so I haven't weighed it from when I opened it, but I'll weigh it from now and we'll keep track. The last thing that I used up was my Revlon ColorStay eyeliner in bronze. I really like this. It's a twist up, like a retractable eyeliner. I mainly used it sort of as, when I was wearing no eyeshadow, this was really nice as a liner because it defined the eyes a little bit. On its own, like I'll try to get a little bit out. It's scratchy, I can't get it out. It was like a light bronzy sort of warm color. It wasn't enough to define the eyes on top of eyeshadow, but on bare eyelids, it was really nice to just add a little something on the lash line. And then often I would use the back end as a bit of a smudger. So it sort of worked as almost like a cream eyeshadow, but just more precise. Really nice to apply, wore really nicely. Did transfer onto the waterline quite nicely, but again, wasn't a dark color, so it didn't show up super well. But I went through this really quickly. I'll have an update of where I was up to last month. I think there's only a little bit left, but I used it up pretty quickly. I'm not going to introduce another liner yet because I have another one. So this is the LH Cosmetics Vega Flash. It is this like shimmery green, which is what I've got on my eyes today on the top lash line and also my waterline. And I'm just going to focus on this. While we're here, I may as well give you an update with that. So progress. But yeah, I have been using this, but I've got so many eyeliners this year. I sort of want to target as many as I can to narrow it down. Realistically, I only need like a couple of fun colors, 1 or 2 browns, maybe a matte brown, maybe a shimmery brown, maybe 1 black. And I've got a drawer full. So the sharpenable ones tend to go pretty quickly because as you sharpen them, you actually lose a bit of product. So yeah, I'm going to try to use up as many as possible, and I'm going to try to see if I can use up the majority of this in the next month. We'll see, but that's my goal. So those are all the things that I've used up. There are a couple of things that I'm very close to using up. So let's start with this R+Co 2-Way Mirror Hair Oil. So I introduced this last month, and I measured it this way because I can't see where it was up to there. Hopefully you can see that it was up to where that label was last check-in, and I've used it down to that nail polish line down there. Not much left whatsoever. I'll use that up in like 2 weeks. I could preemptively add in another hair treatment product to use up, but I'm not sure which one I want to use yet. So again, I'll use this up and I'll take a week or 2 to figure out what I want to add in next. but that one is very close to being done. Two other things that are really close to being done. One is my Urban Decay Primer Potion. This is like, whenever I use it, there is stuff coming out, but it's like I'm really squeezing it to try to get it out. So I have been weighing this. I'm hoping there is a difference in terms of weight, but I feel like almost any day now I'm going to squeeze this and there's going to be nothing left. So that one is hopefully done soon, but primers take forever, let's be real. This is the concealer that I am going to use as a foundation to use it up. I did take the stopper out a while ago. I did scrape down the side. When I first introduced it, it was up to here, and then last check-in it was down to there. I don't know where it's at because it looks like it's completely empty, but there's still a lot on the side. So whenever I sort of shake it up, whenever I try to use it, there is plenty on the wand to access. So I can't really track where it's up to at the moment. I'm just going to try to focus on using this up by mixing it with SPF or something as a daily foundation. For my oily skin, I find mixing concealer with SPF better than mixing it with face oils or moisturizers, and I feel like it's an added layer of SPF, so I like doing it that way. So I might keep this in my bathroom and use it as my foundation mixed with SPF. So yeah, this hopefully will be done next month. I do have another concealer, so once I sort of use that up, I'll shift my focus to my NARS. This is the Soft Matte Complete Concealer in Medium 1 Custard. This is just a bit dark for me. I like this formula, but I really need a shade that suits me better. So this one, I've got plans. I've got a couple of foundations that are way too light for me, and we're going into winter. We're in autumn at the moment, so we're not far off winter. So I feel like I'm going to try to use up some light foundations in winter, and I might even add it in sort of earlier so I can mix it with this and get a better color match for me. So that's what I might use this for in the future. So I've got plans. All right, I'm going to talk about some skincare because there's some easy tracking progress here. I've got a shower gel from Soul Body, and you can see based on my nail polish marks, it is started right up the top and is down to there. I'm sort of making the same amount of progress every month, and I am hoping to get this done by next check-in. That is my goal. My body lotion, I haven't been using this much. I've mainly been using it on my hands and my feet before I go to bed, so it's tracking quite slowly. If I was to use this on my like legs and arms and body, I would have it done, but it's getting cold. So I get out of the shower and I don't want to be slathering myself with moisturizer. I just want to get in my PJs. So this is taking slower than normal, but there is progress. I don't even know why I have a setting spray in here, to be honest, because I'm just not using much at the moment. But this is my MAC Fix Plus in a different bottle because I wanted to return that back to MAC. It's the same nail polish color, so it's hard to see, but last month it was there. This month it's down to here. It's like, this is my probably least used product. Perfume. Now this is the Solinotes Yuzu, I think it's called. You can see the tracking there. So I introduced it last month. I've been using it a lot. To be honest, I've mainly been using this as a room spray because it was fairly cheap. But I mentioned when I introduced this, that it just doesn't last long on me. It lasts like 20 minutes max. I used to have this in my handbag as like a touch-up, like if I'm feeling a bit sweaty and gross, I'd spray myself. But it's also not a very sophisticated scent. Now, fragrances don't have to be sophisticated, but this smells pretty cheap. So I think this works better as a room spray. So I'm not wearing this today as a fragrance. I rarely wear this as a fragrance, but I do use it quite a lot to spray in my bathroom. We have like, my cats sleep in my bedroom, so we have a kitty litter tray in the bathroom. The windows are always open, but if it gets a bit stinky, I'm like spray, 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 spray. So that's how I'm using this. It's a glorified room spray. Last month I introduced this serum. It's actually an eye serum, the Boost Lab Bioactive Eye Reset Serum. I don't like using eye serums. I just don't feel like they do enough to have an additional step to my skincare routine. So I like to use serums that I can take up to my eye area and just do it all in one. So I've actually been targeting my eye serums because I got a few eye creams, eye serums, and I'm using them all over my face just to use them up. So that's the background of that. Now this was up to here when I introduced it. Again, the choice of nail polish is not great, but it's down to here now. So I will have that done next month, and then I will rotate in another eye serum to use all over my face. Oh, my beloved cleanser. The Bye Bye Blemish Vita Tox Brightening Bubble Cleanser by Some By Me. I love this. It's like a zingy, lemony, citrusy, nice way to start the day. This is a bubble mask that you're supposed to put on dry skin, let it bubble up and then wash off. I just use it as a cleanser and it foams up like almost like a shaving cream thing. Really nice and lathery, really fresh, really revitalizing, and I'm tracking very slow because it's very thick, so you need to use the smallest amount, and I love it, so I'm not rushing it, I'm savoring it. A few pan products. I'm still using my MAC Stereo Rose. I love this. I wish it was permanent. I would repurchase it in a heartbeat, even without back to MAC, and even with MAC prices I would buy the crap out of this. Hopefully you can see on the screen what it looks like. I think there is some progress in terms of how big the pan's getting, but I haven't been wearing makeup as much this month as I have previous months. There's just been a lot of days where I've been like helping my parents paint their downstairs room and all this kind of stuff. So there's just been days where I just have not been wearing makeup, but this is something that I love wearing because it just brightens my face and makes me look so much healthier and so much more fresh on a day where I'm feeling really flat. So I love this. I have been using it, but not overusing it. Too Faced bronzer. This is the Chocolate Soleil bronzer. Look, I think I've used this twice. It has been chewed at by my toddler because it tastes yummy. But in terms of usage, probably you won't see much. I've really gone off bronzer. I think at the moment, it's clashing with my skin tone, just in general, bronzers in general. I feel like I am wearing the bronzer today because I thought I'll put some on for filming. But in general, I used to use bronzer every day. And if you asked me if I would use a blush or a bronzer, I would use a bronzer over a blush any day of the week. But these days, I think it just makes my skin tone look a little bit muddy. I don't know why things have changed. And it doesn't matter what bronzer it is, it just doesn't suit my coloring as much as a nice illuminating blush does these days. So I have really pulled back. I would have used this up by now if I was using bronzer at the rate that I used to. So I'll keep it in case I get re-inspired, or in case I start using a lighter foundation, I need to warm it up. That's a great way to use a bronzer. But right now, again, this is, along with my finishing spray, least used product by far. Ooh, something that probably people have been wondering about. The palette that I introduced last month. Now, to be fair, it takes a few months to see some really good results with eyeshadow palettes, but I have been using this, look, not as much as I would like. I'm wearing it today. So my favorite shade is this one. I am wanting a mauve to put in the crease. Today I'm wearing this one with the pink. You can see the pink matte. This shade is beautiful. It's like this soft purple with this gold, sort of soft gold sheen, and I really want something cool toned to blend it out, but this whole palette is fairly warm. Even the pinks have like corally sort of leanings to them. So anyway, I've been using this a lot, but I have done 2 eyeshadow palette reviews, which took a couple of weeks. So it took away from me using this. I will have photo comparisons on the screen. There are some dips happening in some of the shimmers. So this one, maybe in the corner there, maybe a little bit more there, but the mattes virtually looked untouched because they are quite, yeah, the shimmers are a little bit softer, so you can pick up a little bit more. But yeah, we're just starting. My Benefit Kabrow brow pomade, I'm still wearing this. I've been wearing this, I think, was it all last year? Almost. I'm still going. Like, there's quite a lot in there. I just recently rehydrated it with Duraline because it's getting a bit dry. So hopefully I can get a little bit more, I can pick up a little bit more on the brush every time, but whatever, I don't know. Lips, last things. I think that's all, everything. I have 2 MAC lipsticks that I'm trying to pan, and I've also got this Inoxa Tinted Lip Serum. This is really nice to use. I use it every other day. Did I weigh this? I don't know if I did. This was completely full when I started using it, and it's so full that I can't see any like settling or anything like that. No indication of usage, but I can tell you I've been using it. Not every day, but I've been using it. When it comes to MAC Velvet Teddy, still looks like there's a lot going on. I'll have comparison photos from last month, but there's still a lot. And same with Lady Danger. Wearing it today, love it. One of my favorite red lipsticks of all time, but still heaps to go. So it's a little bit disheartening realizing how long it takes to use up lipsticks and lip products. Yeah, because I do wear a lip product every day, but I tend to not reapply too much. I think that's my problem. Like I will put on, like yesterday I put on Velvet Teddy in the morning and then I just let it wear off throughout the day. So I feel like to get a lot of usage with your lip products, you need to keep them with you and reapply. And I just forget. I just don't do it. So whatever. Anyway, besides the lip products and the bronzer, I feel like the rest of it, like getting those base products out there, I'm super happy because I have been annoyingly buying base products on the search for like my perfect base product. I want something that looks natural, that's got like medium coverage, that wears all day, but might be a little bit like illuminating so I don't look flat and matte. Like I want like the perfect thing that doesn't cost a bomb. I don't want it to cost like $100 because if it's my daily foundation, I can use it up in a few months. I don't want to be spending like $1,000 on foundation every year. Like it's ridiculous. So anyway, I've been trying these things. I've been buying these things, hoping they're going to be like the next coming of Jesus, and they're not. And then I get disappointed and I have this graveyard that I want to work through. So anyway, if I can get through a lot of that graveyard, I'll be happy. I might treat myself to a fancy foundation. I don't know, but we're getting there slowly. Anyway, let me know how you're going with your project pan. If you're doing a project pan, what have you used up in the last month? Have you found that because we're sort of well and truly into the year that you're starting to see some good progress? I want to know. I'll chat to you in the comments. So all the products I talked about will be listed in the description box, and I'll see you in the next one, which will probably be my empties because I'm about to film that. So I'll see you then. Bye.